Welcome, everybody, to Straight Shoot, a wrestling podcast. I am one half of your host, Steve, and welcome back for our second week, Wheezy. She's finally gotten her feet wet. She's got some videos up where we're getting her more confident, and this is a good time. Wheezy, how's your week been?
It's been really crazy, but it's been good. I've had fun talking to everybody. I haven't been fired yet, so there's a plus.
It got close.
Don't tell me. I don't want to know.
Don't worry, you'll be the last to know.
Okay.
No, Wheezy, honestly, I think last week's videos and some of the videos that we've put together so far and some of the stuff that's coming out is going to be great. And I can't wait to see you do some work with Kevin and with Santi. So it's going to be good.
Me too.
But Wheezy, topic of the show.
Yes.
And this is an interesting one because I feel that you and I are very aligned, and I think the rest of the crew at Straight Shoot are very much aligned in this conversation as well with what the fuck are they doing with LA Knight?
I think they know what they're doing with LA Knight. I feel like everyone else knows or has ideas of what they could do with LA Knight, but none of it is coming to fruition for whatever reason.
Yeah, like, so let's do this backwards quickly, or do this from the start. WWE thought the return of Bray Wyatt was going to be all about Bray. Clearly, that has not been the case. Either he's injured or sick, or there's contract issues or creative issues, and Bray Wyatt. And I hate to agree with Santi on this one because I love Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt has been an absolute flop.
I agree with that sentiment also. I don't know that I've been as vocal, but I 1000% have agreed with that.
Yeah, but the one person that came out of that entire feud looking like $1 million fucking dollars was LA Knight. And yeah. But no, seriously, like he came out of that looking like $1 million bucks. And for what I thought, he could have gone right into a mid-card title feud. Right after that.
Easily.
Then we see LA Knight a couple of weeks before WrestleMania on some SmackDown shows, not picking up really any W's. He's not getting a lot of TV time. Then we go into Mania, and he does the job during the Battle Royal on SmackDown. He doesn't even get a second of TV time at WrestleMania. It was in LA.
It was. And not only that, but the segment that he had with The Undertaker, he was in the ring with The Undertaker and seemed like he was getting the nod from the dead man.
Yeah.
And even then, they are doing what they're doing.
I just don't.
Who did he piss off?
Who did he piss off? Like, and everybody in the comments is going to be like, "Oh, this is Vince booking. Vince isn't creative."
Yeah, of course they are.
Yeah, shut the fuck up.
Cop out.
Exactly. That is literally the biggest scapegoat cop out right now, and I hate that argument. Maybe we should do a video on that one day. But legit, LA Knight is on fire. He's rumored to be the guy that's going to get the Money in the Bank briefcase in London this year. He's probably arguably the best one that could hold it because of what we saw maybe with Austin Theory last year. A really good heel always holds the title or the Money in the Bank and does a really good job with it. Mm-hmm. What I'm not understanding is how do you have someone that is so over with the fans in a heel role and you make him do these very weird, not very good matches with the likes of Xavier Woods? And I'm not shooting on Xavier Woods in this one. I'm not.
Oh, no, you didn't like that?
No, I thought...
I think it fell flat. It fell flat, unfortunately.
Exactly. It wasn't a good match.
No.
The build was lackluster with this social media thing, which I felt was very Xavier Woods style. Like the back and forth over social media and Twitter and all that bollocks or whatever.
I wanted to like it because someone had sent that to me and I watched him, do what he did, Xavier's promo on Twitter. And that didn't really even get me. I was like, oh, random. Okay.
Yeah.
Where is this coming from?
But it was, I just didn't, like you said, it fell flat, and it fell flat almost as hard as the entire Bray Wyatt thing. Like, it felt like LA Knight was just following someone else's creative and had no vocals in it. And then he went out and he tried to put on a good match and it wasn't good. So
do you think maybe they're just biding time until they get to Money in the Bank? Like, the end goal is Money in the Bank. So in the meantime here, we'll keep you around and kind of in the shadows so that we don't hype you up too much and you don't get too big before that happens, because they know that the interest is already there. It's the only thing that I can really make sense of.
I like that idea, but then I go back to Liv Morgan last year for Money in the Bank, and everything was about Liv Morgan running, gonna be that one that needs to win the Money in the Bank. She was the one that needed it. Yeah. And she got it. She cashed in on Ronda, had a flat run as a title holder, which I felt bad for her on that. But I'm seeing very similar things. Like, there was she was getting a good singles run, but she was getting W's. LA Knight's just getting L's. And this, no pun intended. No
See what
pun
you did there.
I know. But it was I sit here now and I agree with you that maybe slow playing it, but we're only May, June, 2.5 months from Money in the Bank.
That's the thing, though, is that I feel like they can only slow play it for so long because our attention spans are short and we lose interest very quickly. So yeah, they could be biding time until Money in the Bank, but who knows if anyone's really going to care by then, or if his momentum is going to carry on till then. They might not care once it happens.
If they keep doing
it happens.
Yeah, if they keep doing them dirty like this, I don't think people are really going to see the value in it. No. It's one of those ones where I struggle because I want this guy to succeed. Like, all the fans literally see money in him. We want, like, the yas are getting louder every week. When he hits the TV, the crowd pops. It's not a massive pop, but it's a pop for a mid-carder that deserves a good pop.
And hasn't won any matches, really.
Exactly. And literally got ran through the ringer with all this stuff with Bray Wyatt. And listen, I was trying to be the biggest fan of Bray Wyatt for all of this.
I know. You were a good soldier. I've been off the bandwagon for a minute.
Yeah. So, but the thing, no pun intended with the either. But, like, LA Knight has so much charisma. He has so much value that he brings to the TV. And it just feels like they are. This is where it feels for me. The whole Drew McIntyre thing before, like, right after his run in the Thunderdome or whatever they're calling it. The COVID. The Performance Center.
Performance Center, the Thunderdome.
Yeah. Drew's run was so lackluster after he got the title, that it just felt like they didn't know what to do. And I feel right now they don't know what the fuck to do with LA Knight, because is he a mid-carder? Can he be up there when the titles get split with Cody and the rest of the guys? Like, where? Like, I don't know why he's not feuding with, like, the likes of Karrion Kross. There's a few.
Well, that's what I was just gonna say was, okay, say that they do give him a chance. Okay, who is it with? Who do they put him in a program with that makes sense? Because in my mind, I was thinking, personality wise, character wise, Austin Theory. Mm-hmm. But Austin Theory did just beat John Cena and still has the US title. Mm-hmm. Would it make sense for LA Knight, who hasn't won anything at this point, it wouldn't make sense to put him up against Austin Theory and then just lose to Austin Theory, and then there's yet another one, because then where would you go from there? So I feel like he's almost backed into a corner. Because where do you put him? If
the draft happens and LA Knight goes to Monday Night Raw, I want him coming out and challenging Austin Theory like first night. Like, that's
absolutely
that for me. But they also, the rumor is that they're going to switch the titles and put IC on Raw and US on SmackDown, which I can see, because even though Gunther's putting on bangers, there's more charisma, and it's a very Fox style thing to have somebody with more charisma with a title. And I see that happening with Austin Theory going over to SmackDown. And just remember, the US title has always been more predominantly on SmackDown with Cena and Edge and all those characters back in the day.
If they continue with the path of actually having the brand split and don't have the US title just jump over every week anyway, because
yeah,
that's a big possibility.
Yeah, if you guys haven't seen our video on the draft, go to YouTube right now and just check that out. That conversation is one in its own, and it's funny that Wheezy and I keep bringing it up, but
I don't have high hopes for it. I don't think that they're going to stick with any of that. That's why I'm so negative about it. But they could have really great ideas.
They could. And hopefully once we see where creative's going, it will be one of those ones where we're like, okay, yeah, we'll swallow our pride and say we were wrong. But back to LA Knight, like, okay, we've got Austin Theory if he goes over to Raw. But if he stays on SmackDown, we're already seeing a feud with Nakamura and Cross being teased right now. Okay.
Yes.
Do you really see a future in this feud with Xavier Woods when there's no proverbial brass ring at the end of the trail, at the end of the golden trail? You know, like there's nothing, there's no gain for either one of these guys to be fighting with each other.
It's a filler. It's a filler.
It's a filler. But,
and Xavier also, I think, has said, you know, he's been waiting his turn to have a shot at whatever he wants to go for, whether it be the Intercontinental title, the US title. Do you think that they would have LA Knight beat Xavier Woods, or would it actually be Xavier Woods' turn? Again, I just feel like he's backed into a corner. Who can he beat?
That's true.
Who would they let him beat?
That's true. I just had an idea, though. Because of this little mini feud, this could actually bring LA Knight into the IC title picture with the match coming up next week with Gunther and Xavier Woods. Can definitely see LA Knight kind of sitting ringside being like, I want to watch both these guys.
Inserting himself.
And he, like in a very LA Knight style, inserts himself into a feud, which we could see go into Puerto Rico, or we could see go into Saudi, which that I could get around.
I could get around that as long as the feud stays between LA Knight and Xavier Woods, and you're not putting LA Knight against Gunther just so that Gunther can beat LA Knight. I don't want him to keep running programs where he's losing against champions and his credibility is just continuously being knocked down and down and down.
Yeah.
I don't want that to keep happening.
Last one, brand split. That we are getting rumors that there are going to be some top guys going back down to NXT.
Yeah.
As much as I don't want to see it, how much value is there in LA Knight going down to NXT and going for that NXT title against, you know, what's his name down there? Not Rich Swann. Oh my God, I almost said Rich Swann.
Carmelo Hayes?
Carmelo Hayes or Braun Breaker or even Grayson Waller. Like a segment between Grayson Waller and LA Knight would be fire. Just a promo fire. But like, is there value in it? Because LA Knight's, he's a veteran. He's not a rookie.
No, he's not.
You know, and he's in his 40s, so he doesn't have a lot left, but I'd love to see him.
I'm only laughing because he just did an interview where he was making fun of how every interview that anyone ever does about him or talks about him, they bring up the fact that he's 40. He hates it.
I don't mean to be disrespectful.
No, I know. I get where you're coming from. But I do think that he would thrive at NXT. We've seen that happen so many times for people that have lost momentum on one of the main brands. Go back down to NXT. They kill it. They raise their value, and then they're able to come back. I don't want that for him, but I do think it would be good for him.
Yes.
I wish they could just get their shit together and treat him the way that he should be now. But that's not always what happens.
It's kind of funny. I was talking to Kevin earlier this week in a conversation about Nick Aldis and about how he signed with Impact. And I think WWE made a huge mistake in overlooking him and not bringing him over, because a feud between Nick Aldis and LA Knight would be...
Oh, it'd be so good.
Yeah. And that was so disappointing. When I was watching Rebellion and I saw Nick Aldis come out, I melted in my seat. I was like, fuck. Like,
I was a little surprised. I just saw him he wrestled at that expo that I was just at last weekend. Yeah. And he's amazing.
Oh, he's incredible. He's out of basically every wrestler in the quote indies or on the lower promotions right now, he's in my top 3. Like he's 100. I've always wanted to see Nick Aldis in WWE. So, but a feud between Nick Aldis and LA Knight would have been just something magic because they've got the NWA history. So, but it is what it is, guys. Let us know in the comments what you guys think on this opinion. How should LA Knight be booked? How do you feel he's being booked? Where he should end up? Guys, let us know. Wheezy, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitch, twitch.tv/WheezyBlonde. You can find me on TikTok @WheezyBlonde.
Perfect, guys. And you can find myself, Mr. Tashk, at twitch.tv/Mr. Tashk, on TikTok, Mr. Tashk. And obviously, make sure you check out all the straight shoot platforms. And if you're listening on audio devices, make sure you leave us a 5-star rating if it gives you the ability to. And make sure you leave some comments. It definitely helps boost our content. Guys, like always, my name is Mr. Tashk, and I look forward to speaking to you guys soon. Take care.